Yeah. Hi, architect. This part 6 is going to be a bit longer than usual. I was talking about lack of self-love, self-worth, and self-esteem earlier, which is the root of the problem. The root of all those issues and sufferings that you have, including burnout symptoms such as overwhelmed, fatigue, and exhaustion, which we know come from too much stress and anxieties in a prolonged period of time while you're working as an architect a number of years, or maybe even started when you were a student of architecture. You try to compensate for something, and that is what it is: the lack of self-love. Now, you can't get it from external sources. You can't get self-love from external sources. It comes from within, from you. It comes from a belief about yourself. So if you believe that you're not pretty, or you're not handsome, or you believe that you're not good enough, you are not pretty or handsome or good enough. That's because that's your belief, and it's embedded in your subconscious. It's something that you affirm and reaffirm every day, throughout the day. It's your belief. Changing that thought to a different way of looking at yourself, changing to actually recognize another side of you, or just taking you as you are. Because you're focusing on lack, not good, not good, not good. You're not really appreciating or value yourself. How do you want to do that? How do you start valuing yourself? Believe me, when it was proposed to me that I need to unconditionally love myself, I thought, oh my God, it's so hard even I tried doing it. Because I was in that mindset. I was in that situation where I was still caught up in the old ways of thinking. And it's like, like you're a baby, or you're in the eggshell. You're trying to come out of it. It's a struggle, that challenge of breaking through, a breakthrough. A breakthrough where you recognize yourself differently. You recognize something about you that is that person that you are, which is actually a valuable thing. To value yourself, to come to that point where, oh my God, I am beautiful. There are a lot of songs out there, right? And then there's that song called The Greatest Love of All, written by George Benson, made famous by Whitney Houston. In 1977, George Benson sang the song Greatest Love of All. Learning to love yourself, it is the greatest love of all. So learning is that operative word. Learning to love yourself. You just can't learn. You just can't love yourself out of thin air. You need to learn. How is it that I'm going to learn to love myself? So you start taking pains to actually think about how you work. You start being aware and being mindful about what's around you and your body, in terms of whether you're triggered about something, whether you be talking to someone and then they will be recounting a story from the past, and then suddenly you felt triggered and you felt a pain in your chest or a headache, then you know that, no, I don't really want to talk about that. You tell that person, no, I think I don't want to talk about that. So you start protecting or understanding where your boundaries are. So there are a lot of these exercises or mindfulness way of being aware how you want to value yourself, you want to protect yourself, Previously, you were just available to anyone. I mean, that's also in the workplace scenario where you know that you're too exhausted to do the job that has been asked of you to do overnight or during the weekend, or a deadline that is simply, inside of you that this is something that you don't really want to undertake, but because you feel guilty or you feel, okay, I got to do this. If not, I will be out of a job. Something has to give. And it doesn't mean that you have to lose your job. It could be that you could communicate your concerns to someone and they may reject you or reject your proposal. The fear is very much in all this. The fear of being rejected, the fear of being thought as somebody who is not committed, or the fear of, lots of fears of underlying it all, being thought of as someone who's weak. I mean, I've gone through this with key performance indicators, trying to reach for, a situation where I could produce so that it'll tick all the boxes and I'll get my 90% or a certain amount of level and even beyond. So that's that balance that we need to achieve, that work-life balance scenario. And yeah, this is not, we're understanding this in a vacuum. This is real. This is about you taking care of yourself. Self-love is something that is very much linked to self-esteem and self-worth. You are good enough. You are good enough as the architect in the workplace, as an employee. You're good enough as whoever you are, whatever you identify with out there in your community. So there you go. This is part 6 on the topic of job burnout for the architects, and what is the root cause of the problems. And that root cause is the thoughts that you keep on having that forms your belief every day, every moment of your life. And if you think that you're not good enough, then you're not good enough. So you got to change that thought. And how to change that is learning to love yourself, which is the greatest love of all.